Lee, welcome to 360.
Thank you for having me.
What a summer of sport we've just had to start back with episode 1. I mean, for you, watching it all unfold over the past couple of months, how's it been?
It's been fantastic. I mean, obviously we weren't sure if the Olympics were ever going to go ahead, but it was delivered really well. I think Toyko did a fantastic job and our athletes really shone out there. And
you, personally, you are a 3-time Olympian, an incredible career over the years. Can you just tell us about that from the start? How did you get involved in athletics and running in the first place?
Yeah, as a youngster, I mainly did sort of swimming and ice skating were actually my sort of main sports, a little bit of netball, a little bit of volleyball and stuff. I think it was probably late primary school, primary 6 or 7, we got to do the relay at the Glasgow schools and we did quite well there, and then went to secondary school. And off of the back of that, my mum took me along to an athletics event at the Kelvin Hall, where you just go along and you try all the different events. And I think it was a summer camp. I went along, did all the different events, and a coach there, high jump coach at the time, approached my mum and said, "Your daughter's really got a bit of talent. I'd love her to come and join our coaching sessions." So started going along, and it just kind of snowballed from there. Joined the athletics club, City Glasgow. Off the back of that, I then discovered I could run a little bit. So I joined a sprint coach and did a lot of sprinting, high jumping side by side until I went to university. Just high jumped at that point. Finished university and decided, right, I wanted to be a 400-metre runner. And that was off the back of watching Catherine Mary and Donna Fraser finish 3rd and 4th at the Sydney Olympics. Decided it was time to take up 400-metre running, and it just again sort of snowballed, and I had a sort of fairly successful career.
Did you ever think, I mean, even when you started when you were at primary school, but even at uni when you kind of really found yourself with running, did you ever think back then, I am going to be an Olympian?
I think, like, you watch the Olympics. My first memory is the Barcelona Olympics. Sally Gunno, you know, fantastic, win the gold medal, breaking the world record. You know, it was incredible. And you watch that and you think, wow, I'd love to do that. And it's a dream at that point, isn't it? It's not something you sit down and write, that's my goal this year. It's a dream. And then you start athletics yourself, and you start doing other events. You know, you go to Scottish Championships, then at the British Championships, and before you know it, that sort of dream's becoming a reality, you know, and it now is your goal. So it doesn't start off that way, not for me anyway. It was more of a dream that I managed to sort of turn into a reality.
But even having that dream, what was it like the first time that you walked out at an Olympic stadium and prepared for your first race there?
Terrifying.
Was it?
Yeah, the Olympics are like no other event. Before I went to the Olympics, I had done my first event was the World Championships. I was part of the 4x4 relay team. That was in 2001. So I went to Canada, and it's just athletics. We stayed in a hotel, and it was really just the GB athletes were in that one hotel. So it was quite a nice introduction to it. And then I went on the following year to Manchester Commonwealth Games, and it was, you know, a multi-sport, so you got a taster of what it was going to be like. You know, a lot of different events all in the one dining hall, all real busyness, you know, getting on the right bus, make sure you go to the right venue, you know. And then I went to European Championships, and then you're back to just athletics again. It's a quite a nice smaller environment. And then the following year, World Championships again, just athletics, so quite a nice tight environment, you know, not quite as intimidating. Then you go to the Olympics, and this is just multiplied, and the dining hall's petrifying, you know, it's just huge. You don't know what to order. I was quite lost, I think, at my first Olympic Games. I found it quite unsettling, to be honest, and that showed, unfortunately, my track performances, if I'm honest. It was quite daunting. It's just so vast and so many famous people, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, there's such and such and this and that. And I got lost in that and got nervous about that, rather than just thinking about yourself. And that's what athletes need to do. You know, you need to think about what you're there to do and just focus on that. But there was so much going on, it was quite intimidating, I found. I
suppose that's the thing, a sport career often isn't the longest depending what sport you do, and with the Olympics every 4 years at the kind of pinnacle of your sport, it doesn't come around often. But thankfully after your first one you did have 2 more. Did you feel a bit more settled then when you when you went to those games?
Yes, definitely. It was good to have had that experience at the first one, to know what to expect. I like to know what I'm getting myself in for. So I do like to know what's coming, and I didn't, it was very unexpected, because I mean, I was only in the sport a couple of years before then hitting the Olympics, so it was quite a short time for me to really get used to how things worked. I was sort of really thrown into it, I think. But it's I've lost my track, I'm sorry.
Well, no, but even for you personally, I mean, how does it feel watching the Olympics? We just had it.
Yeah.
Was it bizarre knowing that was once year?
Yeah, I think I loved watching the Olympics. Don't get me wrong, after I retired, it took me a couple of years to get to grips with being a spectator, but now I just absolutely love it. I think my children think I'm crazy. I'm standing shouting at the TV and stuff like this, but I get really engrossed in it and love watching sort of British athletes in all countries. I actually just love watching all the athletes perform, and I'm fascinated with all the different sports and the physical challenges that they have. It's just, I find it absolutely remarkable. Well,
I know that your kids are still quite young, but are they aware of you and what you achieved throughout your career?
Yeah, they sort of know, but they
Did you
don't
say that
really.
Was me?
They no interest
Do
in
they
me. No, my youngest one says to me, "Mum, guess who my favourite runner is?" I says, "Was it Mum?" He says, "No, who's that?" It's Dina Asher-Smith. I was like, "Okay, thanks for that."
Two really good athletes.
He says, "You're my second favourite." I was like, "Okay, thanks."
At least you know you're up there.
I know where I stand.
But no, it's so good. It's so good to hear about you and your career. We will come back to that after this. Thank you very much.